Hey TechKnowStuds! Whether we're talking about a law, a regulation, maybe it's some sort of set of standards, perhaps it's a contract we have written, we have to be talking about the same thing. So when we use certain terminology, we have to make sure we understand what that terminology means. And we define certain things like data roles. In this lesson, let's talk about some of the common standard data roles that we see out there. Now, a lot of the laws and regulations and standards that are out there have the same terminology, but there are some differences. And so I just wanted to let you know that we're going to cover some of the standard ones that are out there, but that doesn't mean that it's the same thing across all of these different laws and regulations. There are some variations that are out there. Let me just give you an example of this. Personally identifiable information, or PII, is defined in so many ways. I've seen a lot of different sources out there and they all define things a little differently, and how they categorize what's PII information is all defined a little differently. So it can get really confusing. And so an example of this is NIST right here. NIST is one of these standards for cybersecurity that's out there. They produce a lot of resources out there so that way we can keep things secure. And it's one of the main sources of information around cybersecurity. And we see here that they define cybersecurity in many different ways depending on which document you read. And this is the standard. They're setting the standards out there, but even they have different ways that they define this. And so really there's not necessarily a clear definition always with some of these different definitions, with some of these different terminologies. With that being said, let's define some of these data roles out there and the standard definitions for them. First up is the data controller. Data controllers are the entities that determine, hey, I'm going to collect this data, and determine what's going to happen with that data. They're in charge of the data. And so usually it's some sort of organization, like a business. So this business is maybe collecting information, and they're the ones who are in charge of that information. A data subject is who the information is being collected from or about. And so in this case right here, we have a user and we're collecting information about this user. So that's the data subject. The data controller could be assigning who is the data stewards and who is the data custodians. And this could be two different groups. The data stewards are the ones to make sure that the quality of the data and how the data is being used is accurate. And so their main concern is with the quality of that data. The data custodians is more concerned with things like the security and making sure that the data is kept in a secure manner. So that's the data custodians. Now, a lot of times the data controllers are also processing the information, but the data processor could be different. This could be like a third party that the data controller has hired to actually do the processing of the data. Maybe the data goes directly to the data processor, gets processed, and then utilized. And so there are data processors out there that's this third party entity that is being utilized in all of this. Some of these laws and regulations also define other roles as well. For instance, GDPR requires that a company have a data protection officer, or a DPO. Now, what the problem is if you have data stewards and data custodians, that could be a team of people. But what they want is a single person that will be held accountable if the company is doing things illegally. So now this person, this data protection officer, is legally responsible for the maintenance of protecting the data within the company.